Hi friends, welcome to Toppscholars, the smart learning app. Here again we are taking another step closer to your board examination preparation, and today we will be doing one chapter from chemistry, that is carbon compounds, and we will be solving some of the previously year asked questions from Maharashtra board 10th. Okay, and we will try to solve some of the questions which are important from the point of view of your examination, and let's see how much can we get it. Alright, so let's first begin with the marking scheme here and how many marks can we actually get if we thoroughly prepare for this chapter. So we have marks from 1, 2, 3 and 5 marks. So we have questions we picked from this chapter which can get you 1, 2, 3 to 5 marks. So now for 1 mark question, if we look at it, so we have a scheme, we have an entire map of journey from 2019 to 2023, and if you can see that at least one question has been asked in 2019, 2020, skipping 21, we have 2 questions in 22 and 1 question in 23. So we have 4 years consecutively where we have 1 marks question asked from this chapter, right? And in 2022, we have 2 questions. So we have picked total of 5 questions for you, which we can solve today and aim for 5 marks. Now for 2 marks question, we have had 1 question in 2019. So we will be solving that, which can get you 2 marks. Now for 3 marks, we can see that we had 1 question in 2019, 2 questions in 2020, 1 question in 21. Skipping 2022, we had 1 more question in 23. So we have been able to pick up 5 questions total carrying 15 marks. Now for 5 marks questions, so we have had 5 marks questions also from this chapter. So 1 in 2021, 1 in 2022 and 1 in 23. So last 3 years we have been getting at least 1 questions of 5 marks, and so we have been able to pick 3 questions total, which can get you 15 marks if all 3 comes in your examination. That would be best case scenario, right? So let's try to solve this. But before that, let's look at it in a graphical presentation. So we can see that at least every year we have had 3 questions, and out of that we can see that there are 3 yellows, and yellows are of 5 marks. So there are 3 questions of 5 marks in last 3 years, and the only year which was 2021 is only where we had 2 questions. Rest everywhere we had at least 3 questions, and in 2020 at least 3 marks questions were asked. So 2 3 marks questions were asked, which can also get you 6 marks, right? So we can see that this chapter is actually quite important from the exam point of view because it can get you so many marks, right? So let's roll into it and look at the questions. So first, let's start with the year 2019. So we have 2 questions here. One is an MCQ type question and another is short answer type question. The MCQ one carries 1 mark, short answer carries 2 marks. So let's start with the MCQ. Choose the correct alternative. The carbon compound used in daily life is dash. A. Edible oil. B. Salt. C. Carbon dioxide. D. Baking soda. Which one is it? So we have been using a lot of it. Now is salt a carbon compound? No. Carbon dioxide? Yes. Baking soda? Yes. Edible oil? Yes. So which have been the one that we are using in daily life? So we have edible oil that is used every day, right? Now write names of first 4 homologous series of alcohol. So we have to mention the first 4 homologous series of alcohol, which means what are homologous series? That means they show similar properties and they only differ with CH2, right? So, they only differ slightly by increasing number of CH2s present in it, right? Otherwise, they have all similar properties and similar general structure, right? So, we will have to fill the first 4 homologous series of alcohol, 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3 carbon and 4 carbon, right? So, now we will be able to answer this question easily. Now, let's move on to the third question asked in 2019. So, here we have the common name given, the structural formula given. We will have to just fill these blank spaces. Okay, so we have ethylene. We know that it is a double bond structure. What is the IUPAC name? So, we have 1 and 2 carbon, right? So, that means what? It is ethylene only, right? So, it is 1,2-ethylene. Okay, and this is the IUPAC name also. And now the second one, here we need to answer the common name. IUPAC name is ethanoic acid. Okay, so what would be the common name? We will have to mention that. Now, methyl alcohol, structural formula, methyl alcohol. Methyl means 1 carbon and alcohol is OH, right? We will be solving this further in detail as it carries 3 marks, right? Now, let's move on to the year 2020. Here, complete the correlation. So, alkene is double bond, alkyne would be what? Triple bond, right? It's a very short answer type question which carries 1 mark. Now, the next question from 2020 is a short answer type question but carries 3 marks. Now, it has 3 sub questions. First is define hydrocarbons. Second is name the types of hydrocarbons. And C, name 2 carbon compounds used in daily life. Okay, so again we will be answering this question. It's a 3 mark question. We will be answering this question in proper detail. Let's move on to the next question, which is also a short answer type question, and this is kind of a similar question to what we have seen earlier. Again, here we have the straight chain of carbon compound. Somewhere we have the structural formula, somewhere we have molecular formula, and somewhere we have the names. So, wherever there is information missing, we will have to fill it. Now, this is a straight chain of carbon compound. There are 2 carbon. So, we will have to write the structural formula like this. So, this is a 2 carbon compound. It is going to be, we always fill it like this. Right? What would be the molecular formula? It would be C2H6 and it is ethane, right? Similarly, we will have to fill the rest of them as well. Okay. Now, we are going to the next year, that is 2021. Here we have 2 questions and very, very important. You have to see that one question is of 3 marks, one is of 5 marks. So, here together we have 8 mark question, right? Now, let's first discuss the first question, that is saturated hydrocarbons are classified into 3 types. Write these names giving 1 examples each, right? So, saturated hydrocarbons means the hydrocarbon which has double bonds or triple bonds in it, right? So, those saturated hydrocarbons are classified into 3 types. Which are those that we will have to discuss, right? Now, write the names giving 1 example each. So, we will have to also give examples and then classify them, right? Now, the long answer, that is of 5 marks, it's answer the following question. It's having again 4 sub question. Draw neat label diagram of esterification reaction. Esterification reaction, it contains what? Reaction between a carboxylic acid and alcohol, right? And formation of ester. Write molecular formula of ester. Okay, so once the esterification reaction is explained with the neat label diagram, we will also be able to write the molecular formula of ester. See, describe the characteristics of ester. What are the characteristics of ester? It has the sweet, fruity flavor, or it is a very sweet smelling compound, right? And write any two uses of ester. So, these sweet smelling compounds, where can it be used and where is it being used in normal life. Okay, so now let's move on to the year 22. Here this dash is one of the combustible component of LPG. It's again MCQ 1 mark question. In 2022 year it was asked. Dash is one of the combustible component of LPG. Options are A. ethane, B. propane, C. methane, or D. ethene. Which one of them is one of the combustible component of LPG? Is it propane? Yes, that's right. Now write the IUPAC name for the following structural formula. Now we have the structural formula given here. As you can see, this is a 3-carbon compound. So for 3 carbon, what do we use? Prop. Right? Now what is the functional group here? Alcohol. So this is going to be propanol, right? If we number it 1, 2, 3, so it is 2-propanol, right? So this is a very short answer type question and very easy question. Now let's move on to the next question from 2022. This is a long answer question. So this is obviously we will have to discuss in detail so that you will be able to answer it correctly and confidently. The question here is, identify saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbon from given structural formula. So looking at it, we can say that this is unsaturated and this is saturated. Now what is B? Draw electron dot structure for 1 and 2. So actually, to be honest, this is a very simple question which is asked for 5 marks. You can get 5 marks straight. So you can actually draw a electron dot structure about this. It's a very easy diagram, and then define homologous series. What is a homologous series? We already discussed it in previous question and we will discuss it further as well. It's a 5 marks question. Okay. Now let's move on to 2023. Again, we will start with first a question which is a MCQ type question. Good conductor of electricity is dash. Among these, which one is the good conductor of electricity? So we know that there is one non-metal among here which is a good conductor of electricity, which has been used in a lot of electrical appliance, that is our graphite. Right? So good conductor of electricity among this is our graphite. Now there is a short answer question for 3 marks. Complete the following flow chart. So here we have the flow chart. Hydrocarbon saturated. What would be here? Unsaturated, right? So for saturated, what is the formula here? It is going to be alkane, and here we have alkene, and then we will have alkyne, right? We have the example here. We can write what? Methanol, methane. Okay. So here it is asking for the example. We can write methane. Here it is ethene. Here we can write ethyne, right? So this is how we will be able to complete this flow chart and get 3 marks straight, right? Now let's discuss some of the questions here. This is a 5 marks question asked in 2023. So here what do we have to do? We are given the common name, somewhere we have the structural formula, and somewhere we have the IUPAC name. So wherever we have blank spaces, we will have to fill them, right? So first let's start with one question. This is the question asked in 2021 for 5 marks. We have discussed the question and we are going to discuss the answer. We will discuss a proper solution to it so that you have the confidence to answer it when asked. Okay, so you will have the correct answer for it. Now, first question has 4 subparts. The first A is draw neat label diagram of esterification reaction, right? So we will have the diagram of esterification reaction. So here what we have discussed is that it requires one carboxylic acid and one alcohol to form an ester. So here we have the C2H5OH plus CH3COOH. This is a carboxylic acid, this is an alcohol, and then we get CH3COO C2H5, which is an ester. So this is an esterification reaction, right? Then what is B, right? Molecular formula of ester. So we have formed an ester. So this is the molecular formula of ester as well. So we have answered 2 questions just like that. Now C, describe the characteristics of ester. Ester is a compound derived from an acid in which the hydrogen atom of at least one acidic hydroxyl group of that acid is replaced by an organyl group. So this is why we have the ester formation. Why? Because we have the hydrogen atom of at least one acidic hydroxyl group of acid is replaced by organyl group, right? Then what else? Ester have very distinctive, often sweet smelling scents. So this is one more characteristic of ester. It is often sweet smelling scents. Okay, it's a very distinctive smell. Whenever you smell a compound, you will immediately know that this is an ester. It's a very sweet, fragrant compound. Then what? We go to the last one, that is, write any 2 uses of ester. So if this is sweet smelling scent, where can we use it? So we will use it for artificial flavor and essence making. So it is used for making artificial flavor and essence for cold drinks, ice cream, sweets and perfumes, right? So this was 5 marks question. Can you believe that? It is. Now let's move on. Acting as solvent for acids, fats, acting as solvents for oils, fats, gums, resins, cellulose, paints, varnishes, etc. So there is one more use except for engaging it as a flavor or essence. We can also use as a solvent for oils, fats, gums, resins, cellulose, paints and varnishes, right? Now another question of 5 marks asked in 2022. So this we had parked earlier, if you remember. Identify saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbon from the given structure. Just looking at the structure, we had primarily identified it. We will go into detail and then see the solution for it. B, draw electron dot structure for 1 and 2. So for this, we have to also draw the electron dot structure and then define homologous series, right? So let's see the solution for it. This is the saturated hydrocarbon and this is the unsaturated hydrocarbon. We had already explained that, right? And now the B, which is the electron dot structure. So this is our electron dot structure. As you can see, there is this double bond here, okay? And this is the electron pairing that has happened between carbon and hydrogen. And so we have these electron dot structure, right? Now, what else? C, what is homologous series? The series of compounds formed by joining the same functional group in the place of a particular hydrogen atom on the chains having sequentially increasing length is called homologous series, right? So the chain is increasing, but the functional group remains the same. So that is a homologous series. Now, we have to complete this following table. So these kind of questions are asked many times. It carries 5 marks. You just have to fill in the blanks wherever there is either a structural formula missing, IUPAC name missing, or structural formula is given, common name is missing, right? So we will be solving this now. Now the first one is ethylene, right? So there we go. We can see the structural formula and we will have to write the IUPAC name. So let's see what would be the IUPAC name. So here it is ethene, right? It is because of the double bond. Whenever there is a double bond, we use the suffix "ene" and there is 2 carbons. So that is eth, right? So therefore the IUPAC name goes ethene. Now here the common name is given acetylene. Structural formula CH triple bond CH. So whenever there is a triple bond, we use the suffix "-ine", and because there are 2 carbons, so therefore it goes eth again. So therefore the IUPAC name ethyne. Now third is the common name is acetic acid, right? The structural formula CH3COOH. IUPAC name ethanoic acid. So we had, I think, the IUPAC name given, we had to write the acetic acid, we had to write the common name. So for this structural formula, the common name goes acetic acid, which is used for different purposes in dairy industry, for making cheese as well, right? Now the third one, here it is called methyl alcohol as a common name. Okay, IUPAC name is methanol, and the structural formula meth means what? It's a 1 carbon compound, and the functional group of alcohol, that is OH, will be added. Now here the common name is acetone. Acetone is also used as a solvent in many industrial purposes. The structural formula is CH3COCH3, and since it's a ketone, so that is the reason why its suffix "-one" is added. Because of this group, this is the functional group, right? And since there are 3 carbon, that is why you use prop. So it is going to be prop-N, and where is the functional group? On the second carbon. So that is why prop-2-on. So propan-2-on is the IUPAC name. I hope this is clear now. The structural formula is CH3COCH3. This is the functional group, right? Now how many carbons are there? 3 carbon. So it goes prop, right? And then because of this functional group, this is a ketone, right? So the suffix we are going to use is "-on". It is present on the second carbon. So therefore it is going to be propan-2-on. This would be the IUPAC name. So I hope this is clear to you, and I am very sure now whatever question comes from this chapter, you will be able to answer them very confidently. All the best.